Loving Las Vegas. It's fucking outrageous.
Oh shit.
Somebody date us. Loving Las Vegas. Outrageous. Somebody date us.
Oh god.
It's
That
time
sounds a little
again
desperate.
for another episode of Love in Las Vegas with your host, Jessica. WOOD, which is what all the guys have right now. They've got wood.
Yeah. AKA my stepmom.
Yeah, shut up. It's only when I tell you to do the dishes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm back
Oh.
in the flesh.
Oh.
Yeah. For round 2.
This is a quite off the spur moment right now. I'm going to turn things around to Blake to interview me about my dating life
Yeah,
here
because you
in
guys
Las
want to
Vegas.
hear about this. I've witnessed a lot firsthand.
Yeah, you have.
Well, plus two, after what we did to Blake, we put him through, where
Bringer.
he was completely open and honest.
I know.
So
was.
now we have to,
I want to hear about your popper stories.
I've never done poppers.
I've had a Dr. Popper.
Dr. Pepper.
It was diet.
Yeah. I want to hear about all 23 bold flavors.
Ew.
With my
Okay,
berry
well here you
I
go.
wanna
Like
hear
this
about all
is your
23 bold flavors.
Oh my god. Okay, this is already turned into a shit show. And we're not even a minute in.
I can't fucking wait.
Okay,
All right.
so let's hand it
Jess.
over to you.
Jess, I want to know your last 3 years
Last 3 years.
in a nutshell of your dating life.
Okay, well, a year and a half ago I was in a relationship.
I want to go 3 years in.
Okay.
I want to hear about the last year and a half
at the
of your
end.
last longest relationship. Well, let's start there.
Ooh.
Let's talk about
That's
your
a long
last.
story.
It doesn't have to be that long. I just want
The
I'm
last
saying
year,
nutshell it.
basically the last year and a half of my last true last relationship.
Yes, which was
That
how
a
long?
Fucking shit show. It was about 9 years.
9 years.
9 years. We were engaged.
Yeah. Wow.
We were on a TV show.
What TV show were you on?
It was Say Yes to the Dress America. So it was Say Yes to the Dress. It
Oh.
was a spin-off show. We got chosen. Actually, I was approached on Instagram from my proposal pictures that I put up. We were in Tahiti. And they approached me and they're like, oh, have you ever heard of this show called Say Yes to the Dress? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a reality, I hate reality shows.
Yeah.
But that's one that I actually like to watch. It's just girls trying on dresses in New York, paying like an absurd amount of money for a wedding dress.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Stupid.
I like it.
It's nothing I would ever watch. In
I mean,
my
I
entire
watch
life.
it because I'm like, yeah, that dress looks good on you. Or no, that's bad.
I also have a very different stance on marriage. Like, I don't ever. The only way that I would really get married is if, I don't know.
You truly love that
There
person?
would, no, not
You'd
even.
ever
Like,
been
it would,
in love with someone?
It would have to be my complete self now would be different in order for me to get married now.
Well, yeah, you're young too.
Well, I'm 28. I mean,
And
most
you've
people.
had a
I
lot
feel like
of-
most people my age are either in the kind of the same boat as me or they're married.
Yeah, but that's your millennial outlook on things.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My thing
So-
is I obviously was with someone for so long and I didn't get married to them. Obviously, I've never been married.
Yeah.
Let's just say that because
Okay.
we were engaged.
Me either.
But I'm 34. So yeah, we were picked to be on the show. Let's just say he was a musician, pretty famous musician. He got picked up 5 years into our 3 years into our relationship, and he was still the same person. He's a good person, deep down, he has a good heart, whatever. But I could tell he was promiscuous, and he lied a lot. He was very, very he wasn't truthful. And we met in a show. I don't know. It doesn't matter about any of that.
So the last year and a
backstory.
half of it, though.
Yeah.
Then.
So basically, we got picked up for this show, and they were like, "Oh, we want you to audition for the show where we pick one couple from each state to fly out to New York. You get to pick out a dress for free. And I'm like, shit, okay. A dress for free from Kleinfeld, which is like an amazing store in New York. And we're
Did you pawn the dress?
No, I still have it.
Oh, that's depressing.
I mean, it wasn't my dream dress, honestly. I picked out my dress before I actually picked out that dress.
Then you should pawn it.
I probably will. It was like a $4,000 dress.
Can we film it? You going into the pawn store with this dress?
I'm not gonna pawn it. I'll like
to an easy.
It or
We're
something.
We're gonna bring this $5,000 dress. To
It was
an
really
easy
pretty.
pawn.
It just wasn't me.
I think that's a great idea. Or if one of the guests ends up getting married or something, we'll give them the dress, but they have to be your size.
Yeah, because it was fit to my. Obviously,
Even better, we'll pawn the dress, and then whoever's getting married has to go buy it from the pawn shop.
No.
And it will all be filmed.
This is terrible.
This
is all a really bad idea.
This is a great idea. We need some extra cash to produce the show. This is great. Yeah.
How about I just sell it, make more money than pawning it?
Pawned a dress in Las Vegas.
It's time for Pawn the Dress in Las Vegas.
All right, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so let me get back on track. Let me control this because everyone's out of control.
Yes.
So basically, we got picked up for this show. We auditioned, we made it. They picked us for Nevada. We were supposed to go get married in Central Park. We didn't get a license. 2 weeks before, there was this chick that, like, she befriended me. We were friends, whatever, for a few years. And I kept feeling this weird vibe between him and her. And they had different stories on how they met and, like, all this other stuff. She was in the music scene as well. And then like, this one night, we were at one of our friends' bars. And I was like, can you just tell me we're engaged? We're literally leaving in 2 weeks to go film these episodes. Like, can you just tell me, like, was there anything between you and her? And he was like, all right. After like me asking probably 50 times, and that's not even an exaggeration, throughout our entire relationship, hey, did you sleep with this person? Did you ever had any relationship with this person? Like, I always knew it, like, deep down, my intuition
there was like
told
100,
me.
There was like literally, like you said, like 50
like
opportunities for him to just be like,
come clean.
yes, all right, I fucked up. Obviously, I'm engaged to you.
Yeah. So he actually told me, yeah, I did sleep with her. Yeah. And it was like 4.5 years prior. I was like, what the fuck? And like, I went to her wedding, and even the day of her wedding, I was like, I don't want to go to her wedding if you slept with her, and like all this crazy stuff. And he was like, no, I would never do that.
Oh
so
my
of course,
God.
it was insane. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a long time ago now. I feel like 2 years ago at least.
So shit blew up right before you guys went to film
we went
this.
to go film this like dream show that I wanted to be on and pick out my dream dress.
Okay.
Because like every girl's like dream, I don't care who she is. I mean, not 100% of the women are like, oh my God, I dream about my dream wedding or whatever. It's always like, oh, I want this dress. You know, I want it to be like this. And no, it never always works out like that because it's freaking expensive. Yeah,
it's the whole concept of a marriage, like the actual marriage part of it, is so materialistic.
It is.
In such a way,
like the ceremony, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I want this and I want this and I want this. And it's not I want this like family to be here thing. It's like I want this to look this way. I want
and
my
you
dress
don't
to
even
look this way.
remember any of that
it's
shit.
It's all like
it's so
just a materialistic like just construct.
So
and
that's
it's
not
so
like
culturally like just like outdated.
Yeah, that's not me, obviously. Like, I'll go get married out in the woods. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
I will. Fairy wedding where you're like barefoot.
Not barefoot, no. You stupid. No.
Barefoot in the dress.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that.
You're like covered in mud or something.
Ew, no. Okay, I want it to be clean, and I want just like my best friends there and my parents and like my family.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if there's 200, like I made a list and there was like 200 people. And I'm like, oh, I need to invite all these people. No, it's stupid, you know?
Guy that's like the pastor guy is like definitely got a beard that's like very dirty.
Okay, no. Okay, let's once again getting off track, Block A.
You're describing the perfect wedding, right?
Yeah, just a hippie wedding. You haven't shaved your legs in like 8 months.
We were gonna have Paul Shortino do our vows, or
you're gonna have Paul Shortino do it?
or Danny Coker. We were gonna have one of them because they're both officiants. Anyway, doesn't matter. So
Okay.
We fly out to New York, and I was like, shoot, I'm just going to cancel this. Like, it was such like a heartbreaking thing after all these years.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure that would have been just devastating.
After, 7.5 years of being with him, it was really, really hard. So, which I knew he had cheated on me before, but he always was like, oh, I didn't have sex with anyone. I just made out with this girl and blah, blah, blah. And all this bullshit was just all lies. He was just like a habitual liar. I caught him in so many lies, found so many things throughout our relationship, which I don't know why I stuck around, but it's whatever. Like, when you're in love, you put on those rose-colored glasses. You freaking, whatever. So
you put that mud on your face and take your shoes off.
Oh, my God. Shut up. So what happened, we actually did do everything. We went down there. I picked out a dress. And the whole time, like, I literally cried. Like, you can find I have a mini episode to myself. I'm also in, like, this. It's a 2-episode thing, and he like wrote a song for me and performed it in front of everyone, and it was really cool. Like, I didn't mind the experience. It was nice to meet everyone, but
That's where we got the Love in Las Vegas theme song from.
Mm-hmm.
No,
He wrote that. That's what he wrote for their.
No.
It's fucking outrageous.
All right, you fuckers. You fuckers.
He's down on one knee right now, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
No, it's all acoustic.
Beautiful.
Okay, yeah, it's the acoustic version. You would.
No, it was really cool experience, but the whole time I was like, why the fuck am I here? Like, I didn't have the experience that I wanted, especially picking out a dress. I was like, no, I hate this dress. I couldn't find a dress. Basically, I was the last one in the store. I cried at the end because I was like, literally, he was like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. You're going to be so happy. And I was thinking like, no, I'm not happy right now. And that's not.
But on
like,
camera, they're like, "Oh, it's tears of joy. This is
yeah."
and
Honestly,
really
they
like,
thought it
"God
was.
damn it."
They honestly thought it was tears of joy. And 2 of my friends flew out for it. His friends flew out for it, and my mom was there. And my mom was the only person that knew. Like, I didn't even tell my friends that were in the show.
There was like a rift happening the entire trip.
Yeah,
in
until
New York.
literally
Oh,
after
wow.
the filming, because I didn't want anything to go down. I almost told them right on camera, like, no, this is what happened. And that would have been a cool little drama, a little spin-off thing. But
They probably would have given you a TV show
but I didn't
called
want.
Love in Las Vegas.
This is what it was originally supposed to be.
On
Love on
TLC.
these Love in Las Vegas.
Oh my God.
Pretty, yeah. But yeah. So anyway, I forgave him after everything. I did forgive him. I'm like, all right, fine. We'll still get married. We went and looked at venues and all that stuff. And then one night we went to my cousin's, like, she got proposed by her boyfriend from her boyfriend out in LA. And so we were out there, and on the ride back, like, he was driving my mom's car, and, his phone was hooked up to the car. There was all these messages popping up, and it was from this girl. And I was like, what the fuck? Who's this chick? And I didn't say anything. We stopped, and then I said, hey, when we got home, because my mom's in the car, I don't want to bring anything up. I don't like drama. I don't like problems in front of people. So I said, hey, who's this chick? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, weird, because you were texting her. And on the drive, I was looking to see if they were friends on Facebook and Instagram, which they were, of course. I was like, really? Okay, well, I saw her text you 3 times while we were on our way back from LA. And he was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, dude, like, hello. Just
this is
tell
where you'd be
me
like,
the
hey,
fucking
yeah, it's
truth.
this chick. She won't
I was
leave
like,
me alone.
yeah,
But,
no,
like,
I was like, hello,
I've been
looked
trying to be
her
nice,
up.
like,
yeah.
yeah.
I literally was like, hey, what the hell? Like, I saw that you're friends. Like, he lied to me like 3 times. Like, I asked him. He lied like 3 times. And I said, hey, okay, well, I already looked up. Like, here's the proof. I know you know her. Like, why is she texting you? Oh, well, I'm supposed to go out on the road in Florida, and I just said this and this and that. And I'm like, okay. And then he made up this lie that because he was sober. I was sober at the time, too, for 3 years. He was sober for like 4. And he's still sober as long as I know. But he's like, yeah, it was before I started drinking or stopped drinking that I met her like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, okay, all right, fine. Like, it was before that. Like, you were drinking.
That's relevant. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of fucked up. So he made up that excuse that it was when he was drinking. Well,
Okay.
I was like, do you know what? This is bullshit. And I've never reached out to anyone that he's like hooked, like that he talked to, that I saw messages from them and everything like that before. So I reached out to her on Facebook and I was like, hey, how do you know so-and-so? And she was like, oh yeah, I met him last year. which was obviously when he was sober, in Florida when he was doing a little gig thing with, I don't know, this company that he was sponsored by. And I was like, oh, so there's a lie again. Like he used him being drunk as like an excuse, which was super fucked up. And so, you know, after that, it was like a light switch. I was like, I'm done. Like it took me this freaking long to be done with this person, but I was just like, I can't marry someone that lies to me constantly. You know, I'm in this long relationship with them.
That's how those stories start, where it's like, yeah, and then she chopped his dick off, and now it's like she's in prison.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
Well, 20 years down the road, maybe.
Obviously, he's kept trying to pursue me and wanted to be with me, but I was like, eh. So this happened in February of 2020, literally right before the pandemic happened. And March came around. I put out my first episode actually of Love in Las Vegas on February 14th. So it was right before that or right during that time. And then the pandemic happened. Everything shut down. I was supposed to move out in April, like April 1st. I found a friend's house that I was going to move into. And then he's like, please just stay here. We don't know what's going on. So we lived together in separate rooms for a little while, for a few months, and I was like, I just can't freaking do this because I don't like him.
Kudos to you, because I would have been like, I'm leaving right this second.
Yeah,
I can't just.
But then I lost like my income and like everything like that, so it was completely different.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So yeah, and he didn't know what was going to go on, like if there was going to be militant like people around. You know, like a lot of people got paranoid about
people, like, yeah, like people in the military.
No, like
I'm kidding. Anyway, continue.
You know what I meant? Like people going around the streets, like get in your freaking house, and you know, you have to be on lockdown kind of thing, because that was happening in other countries. So he didn't know if that was going to happen, and so I stayed there for a few months, and then I finally moved out. I was like, I just couldn't do that. I just got over it. So that was my last like really serious relationship, and that was the first year and a half of.
And then what happened? Who was the first person that you slept with right after?
I'm not gonna name names, but I went back to my hometown.
But I want to hear about that story.
Okay, well, I went back to my hometown. Let's just say that Carson City.
Okay.
And I'm sure they're gonna watch this too. So it's this person I went to high school with, and I just like found them attractive throughout high school. I'd never. Like, there was a little dating thing that I did with someone else that I known from college, actually. And we tried to date, but we had never slept with each other or anything like that. And he ended up being a douchebag, too, after knowing him for, like, 18 years or something stupid. Yeah, and he, like, blocked me on everything. But he was like, you need to start dating and blah, blah, blah. But he was like, we're meant to be together. This whole thing with my ex... We were meant to be together.
Carson. Let's just call them Carson.
Yeah, Carson.
We're meant to be together and all this shit.
You dated Carson daily.
Like, we never been single together. And I'm like, you're right. Like, yeah. And then I fell for that. And, of course, that didn't happen. But we didn't see each other anyway. They live in another state anyway. So I went back to Carson, hooked up with this guy, and I was just like, fuck it. Like, I need to be a little whore right now.
Okay. So
I've only slept with one person.
All right. So that's what I'm curious about. So that's where your mind went after this 8-year relationship. You were like, I just need to kind of get that like out of my system now.
Yeah. Because I was with someone, you know, faithfully for so long. Yeah. I was like, screw this. Like, so I started dating around and screwing around, and
which I'm sure, like, before your really long relationship, like, dating was probably way different than it is now.
So different. I started dating my ex when I was like 24, 25.
Which in that time was like, was there even Tinder?
I don't know, because I didn't meet that. I don't think so. I didn't meet people that way anyway. And I was on the strip dancing in a show, and then I also worked at a nightclub. Nothing scandalous.
Nightclub.
Yeah, an actual nightclub where you.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. It's like
you guys.
The club you go to at night, because you don't go to them during the day.
Okay, we'll say I worked at Tao, Marquee Lavo. Okay, fuck y'all. Okay, I worked at that corporation for a long time. I was also in a show where I was a dancer. That's how I met my ex.
Oh, a dancer.
A dancer, huh?
Oh my gosh, choreographed.
We're trying to get you to say you're a stripper.
Yeah, which you know I've never been, so screw you. You know I've never been.
That's what's we're.
Okay, so we'll just put these dollar bills away.
Yeah, goddamn.
Obviously not going to happen today. We got $1,000 bills, but
Love in Las Vegas.
and now welcome to the stage.
Up to the stage, Wood.
Wood, you're up on the stage.
I hate you.
Oh, she's in the private room.
She's in the booth.
She's in the booth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate you all. I hate you both. Anyway, yeah. So what else do you want to know? I basically
all right. So there was this guy. We're
my-
going through the 3 years thing still.
Okay, so after my ex, I slept around with a few different people. The first one was from high school. Like, I knew him from high school.
Okay, so the guy that you saw from, you went back to your hometown.
I slept with him a few times, like, after that, like, going back a few times during
Did that
summer.
end in a ball of fire, or are you guys still, like, friends, or what?
No, like, I can't, like, be with him. First of all, he lives in Carson City. He has a son. And,
Kids do make things complicated.
It wasn't complicated. It was more like, hey, let's hook up and be friends kind of thing. Like, let's be friends with benefits. He knew I didn't want anything
so that was
more.
the original intention.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't
and
like,
hey,
let's
like I knew he
fall
was
in
gonna
love
sleep
and
with
do
me. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing tonight? Kind of thing. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, like, you want to go out? Like,
You guys were exchanging promiscuous pictures?
no.
No, that you didn't
No.
go that route? Is that still a thing?
I think
do you
we
do
did.
that?
Actually, I think we did after we hooked up the first two or three.
Because see, like, if you're trying to do a long distance thing, I don't know how that
I don't do long distance. I've done that before. It's hard. I don't know. And then he's come here once, and we've hooked up once here, and that was about it.
I'm way too
But I
much of
wasn't
like a
seeing
personal
anyone.
touch kind of, like, I like that. Like, I can't get the satisfaction that I need personally from a relationship without that person literally being here.
Really?
I could-
like
yeah, I couldn't
looking
do
at
the-
photos or anything?
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's almost more like sad than it is like getting the point.
I mean, I think we
of, like-
FaceTimed or something like that.
Yeah,
once
not the
or
same.
whatever.
Because
Yeah.
you're FaceTiming that person and you're sitting there and you're staring at them and you're talking to this person and you're like, well, I just want you to be here though.
Yeah,
The whole time.
true.
That's in the back
But
of
if
your
no
head,
one
that's
can be
all
there,
you're
it's better
thinking
than
about.
nothing to me.
Oh, okay. Or you just find someone that can be there. That's
Yeah,
the
but
that's
I'm
how I
not
look
that
at
way.
it.
I can't just be like, hey, you can be here tonight. Let's hook up. Like, I can't do that. Like,
Well, no, you just
I
find
have
someone
had a
that-
few one night stands since then with people. Like, one person I knew pretty well, and then I just never like hooked up with them again. And then another person I met on the dating site, and they actually messaged me recently and were like, hey, I know we met like this long ago, and I want you to be here.
Hey, I know
and
we
I
got
want to
drunk
be
and
with
fucked.
you.
What's up?
I want to be with you. You're the only person I like met up and matched with. I'm sure they're gonna want to listen to this too. But I was like, no, like I'm sorry, like I'm kind of seeing someone right now. This is just a couple weeks ago, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, this is recently. Okay, we can't go this recent. We need
No. That's not like this person. Like I slept with them, and then
during-
they got
and
like
that-
attached. I feel like
Yeah.
they got attached. Yeah. All right. So what else do you want to know?
All right, so where are we at in this timeline of 3 years now? Or is this like
Oh, this is like going into 2 years.
is
'cause
this
it's
like during the pandemic now, or
Yeah.
like towards? Are we in 2021
we're
yet?
totally in 2020.
Okay.
End of 2020.
Mhm.
I'm now just talking to a bunch of people online. I'm not that person that just like hooks up with one person and then, like, yeah, I had like 2 one night stands during that time. But one person I knew really well. The other person I slept with a few times. I don't count that as a one night stand. I don't know. I slept with a few people and had my fun. And then I was like, all right, let me get back on dating sites. Like I did date on dating sites for a while, and one of them was a one night stand.
Okay, so what was like when you first started getting onto dating sites, like after your long relationship and these like one night stands or whatever? What was like your go-to dating site?
So the first one I did, because everyone told me don't go on don't go on Tinder, don't go on whatever, don't go on this, Plenty of Fish, all that shit. I was like, all right, well, what do I go on? Like eHarmony or Match? So I did. I tried Match. I was like, fuck it, let me try.
The paid ones.
Yeah, and I did it free for a while, but you can only see like 2 messages or something.
Yeah, it's not like.
So I tried Match. I did meet someone that I liked. We hung out quite a bit, but like he had started making all these plans for like Halloween and all this other stuff, and I was like, okay, cool, like let's take it slow. And he was like an ex-ball player and whatever. He was around my age, but he ended up being a
Ball player.
A ball player. You met him. He ended up being like a douchebag.
Guy.
Yeah, he ended up being like a super douchebag. He ended up ghosting me in the end. And he actually told me, okay, he had like a few red flags up front. First of all, he jacked off 3 times a day. Like, I'm not even joking. He told me
Bravo.
he told me he jacked off
like,
3 times a day. I was like,
hold on. Like, I'm gonna dive into this for a second.
like, I don't,
All right, so it was like a weird kink thing where he's like, yeah, I have to jerk off exactly 3 times. If it's 4, then I'm fucking depressed. If it's 2, then I need 1 more.
you know, it's weird. Like, he would tell me like, hey, I only jacked off once today. It was to your picture or whatever. But the weird thing is that he's like, I can only jack off to porn that is cosplay with like Marvel.
That's
cosplay.
what he said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Marvel
everyone
comic.
has their thing. I can't.
That's fine.
Guess
Whatever.
what?
Whatever
Yeah,
gets you off.
Whatever gets you off, but to me, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
And then
if you're jerking off to people in costumes, I'm fucking laughing. I don't give a shit. It's fucking hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of sad.
Like, yeah, not.
He was big into sports. Like, that's all he cared about was sports. And I was like,
yeah, that's
cool.
another.
Like, I like some sports, but I'm not gonna revolve my life around
Unless
sports.
you are making money via sports, I can see your
Well,
life.
he was. I mean, he was an ex-ball player, I guess. You know,
But I mean, was
Not
his
prof-
career
yeah,
in
not
sports? Yeah.
no. He worked
So like
for.
that, yeah, whatever.
You already know.
Yeah, yeah. He had a
Cox.
a boring job, but so I could see that, like, if you're in the sports realm, if you're a sportscaster or in that media sense of sports or whatever, and you have that job,
Yeah.
you can be all sports all the time.
Yeah, of course.
But the guys that are like sports guys that aren't in the sports industry, I consider that a red flag.
Okay.
Like,
maybe.
that's probably a red flag. Like,
I mean, that would be like you in the music industry and you listening to new music all the time and following up with different bands and like going to see different bands. Like, that's a different thing. You
when
just
it
see what
pays your bills, yes.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all right, whatever. So anyway, that ended really bad. That was the first guy that like ghosted me, and I was like, listen, I just feel like I'm bothering you now. Like, it was weird.
And
'Cause
he
would
still never texts back anything.
never text back ever. Like, they were all
Wow.
delivered. I could tell he didn't block me. He removed me from social media.
And you
and
know he's
then-
not dead, right?
No, I know he's
Okay,
not
good.
dead.
Because
I
like
hope so.
literally
I
the
hope
term
not.
ghosting is pretty funny, because if that person literally is like, they ghosted me, and it's like, well, it's because they're a
They're
fucking
dead.
ghost now.
Yeah, they're fucking dead.
Then that would be like, oh shit.
Yeah, no. It was the weird thing where I've never been ghosted before, where I was just like, hey, just tell me that you're not interested or whatever. I said, hey, listen, I feel like I'm bothering you, because we would talk every day. We would talk constantly, all day. Lots of conversation going. Like, it was good. We kept the conversation going a lot, and then like he would text me like once a day at that point, and
Yeah.
then it'd be like very silent. And this went on for like 2 weeks right before like Christmas. And he was supposed to come to my birthday. He didn't come to my birthday. It was like a big thing.
Yeah, I remember that. I was around for this whole thing.
He was supposed to come to my birthday. He didn't want to. He was scared in crowds or whatever the fuck. And then he was socially awkward, I guess.
Unless he's cosplaying or something.
Yeah, you know.
Was he actually into like cosplay, and did he go to like
Not that I
conventions?
know. Not that I know of. Yeah, no.
Anyway.
No. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so he ghosted me. I said, hey, I feel like I'm bothering you or something. And then he never wrote me back. And I was like, oh, are you ghosting me right now? And then he
You
never
literally asked that.
asked that.
And
'cause
then
it was
you
like
got
a day.
ghosted up on asking if you were getting
Yeah,
ghosted.
it was like 2 days later, and I was like, "Are you fucking
Fuck,
ghosting me
okay.
right now?" I was like, "Cool, you could be an adult and actually say like, listen, this isn't working out. I don't want to talk anymore." And
Yep.
then
You
it was
gave-
delivered.
You gave him the blatant opportunity to be like, okay,
Yes, I
are
am.
you doing
Goodbye.
what I think you're doing?
Yeah.
And then by the response of nothing is exactly what.
Yeah. And it was so weird because
Okay.
I was so hesitant because I had dated someone that was 10 years older than me for so long. This guy was 2 years younger. He was very mature. Like, he had his shit together. He had owned his own house, car, like, had a great job, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I'll give someone that's 32 a chance. You know,
Yeah.
actually, he was 32 and a year younger than me. So, like, I was like, all right. I was a little hesitant. And then I was like, all right, I'll give him a chance. And that's what happened. I was like, what the fuck? So I was kind of like sad for a while, obviously.
Something that I've found out is you can't base someone's maturity level, especially their
On their age?
No, well, yes, but also you can't base someone's like emotional and like relationship maturity level on their financial stability
Yeah.
at all. Like, Someone could have like a bunch of cars and houses and be a very successful businessman or whatever, and be a complete super, super immature person when it comes to dating people or their dating life or something. It's hard because I feel like when most women or even men see someone that's like, oh, wow, they're like very professional and they have their like shit together, quote unquote, like, yeah, they got cars and houses or whatever, and they might have money. You can't be like, oh, they're probably a good match.
Well, no,
or like maturity level, like it can be completely. They're two completely separate things.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't be like, oh yeah, he's got money, he's probably a good man.
I mean, I didn't think that, but I was like, all right, he has his shit together because even my ex didn't have his shit together, you know. And I'm like,
yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
yes,
so I was like, let me give this person, you know, a chance. All right, so I think we only have time for like one more little thing. So what do you want to touch on?
So I want to hear
like 5 minutes.
I want to hear about your most recent.
I don't know if I
relationship.
What do you want to know about it?
I just want you to tell us about it. Tell the viewers about what
so I
relationship.
Left like dumbfounded on this one. So I met this guy off a dating site. Okay, so I started kind of seeing him pretty. So basically, let's go rewind. We had our first date. It was good. We wanted to hang out all day, basically, and things were great. Like our personalities matched really well. We had a lot of good conversation, and we were just like had that good like energy towards each other. Mm-hmm. So we started kind of seeing each other regularly, and then after a few weeks, he was like, "Listen, I deleted my Hinge. I deleted my Snapchat." And he kept asking me to be his girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, it's only been like a month. Like, can we take it slow? And
red flag.
What, me?
No, him being like, it's been a month. I've deleted all my apps. I want to see you exclusively. Like,
why is that a red flag?
I feel like you should get to know someone a little bit more before you dive straight into being like, okay, let's make this mutually exclusive.
I mean, we were seeing only each other exclusively.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I did tell him, like, all right, I'll delete my Hinge
put
or
a stupid label on it like that.
Yeah. And I was like, you know, this is great. We're having a good time. I brought up his age quite a bit because he was a little immature.
Sounds like your MO at this point. All right.
He was 9 years younger. So, like, he was mature for his age, but honestly, in the dating realm, like, I guess he didn't have any red flags to me at first. I guess one of the red flags was he had only been in a relationship for a few months out of his whole, like, a couple relationships, and they were only for a few months. Like, he had never had a long-term relationship. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fucking boner of a red flag right there.
Yeah,
right there.
like you can't handle a relationship. The other one was that he had a really terrible upbringing with his mother. So it was like, oh, you have mommy issues kind of thing. So after a few months, let's just say like, you know, we hung out for about 2.5 months or something like that, where everything was going well. He stopped asking me because I was like, listen, I'm not ready. We went on a trip together.
Which is very, very like good on you. Like, hey, listen, let's just take this as it is before we jump into something. And it implodes like all the relationships you've had in the past that have lasted a month and a half.
Yeah.
Let's, you know, if we're going to build this together, let's try to do it. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
And I thought
you were making the right move by doing that.
Yeah. And deep down, I felt like, all right, he's a good guy. Maybe he's not right for me because of his age. And I kept bringing that up, and I think it really got to him.
Yeah.
Because I kept bringing up his age. And yeah, on my bad. Like, yeah. Because he kept saying, like, you need to stop bringing up my age. You need to stop doing that. And I told him when people told me that it was, like, I need someone more mature with, like, whatever.
Me personally, I had told you this multiple times.
Yes, I know. And many other people.
Plus, it was really embarrassing when you picked him up from school. Like, I thought that was just embarrassing.
He was like, they were like, oh, dude, your mom is hot. And then he was like, that's not my mom. It's my girlfriend.
Cece's mom.
That's not my mom. That's the girl that I'm not dating.
No, okay, so something happened where we got in a fight because he didn't come over all day, and I was upset, and I was like, fuck, all right, fine. And we were supposed to go camping the next day with you. And he, like, we both basically kind of fought about it. And then I was like, listen, I'll just pick you up in the morning, because it was literally all day where he was like, yeah, I'm gonna come over, let me just do this. Oh, and then I'm gonna come over right after this. And then I text him, and 2 hours went by, and he's like, oh, I fell asleep watching a movie. And I'm like, watching a movie? Well, why wouldn't you just come over? You know, like, instead of taking a break or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Bullshit alert.
Yeah. And he
Total bullshit. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't like
watching a movie.
You
At least the other
buy
guy
that.
was jacking off 3 times.
Yeah.
Like he could have said that.
No, he probably really was watching a movie. But even like when I was in LA filming my other podcast, he like scarcely called me and was like, all right, I want to go out with you, like, let's be a couple and whatever. And I was like, no, dude, like, no, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Basically at the end of the day, so this is the really fucked up part, is that we kind of broke up, whatever, not broke up because we weren't technically together committed, but we were only seeing each other exclusively. And I said, you know, like, all right, let's go our separate ways. He went off to Utah for 2 weeks or something. And then he came back and we talked, and he was like, listen, I do want to be with you. And I was like, cool. You know what? I'll be with you too. I will commit to you. Like, I thought about I thought a lot about it. And, you know, like, you're right. Like, I'm in the wrong, calling out your age. Like, I'll give you a chance. I think you're a good guy. Like, deep down, like, you have good values and stuff like that. And then
you literally took it all together and we're like, let's try.
Yeah. I was like, all right,
Genuinely.
fine,
Yeah.
let's try. And then literally the next day, not even joking, literally the next day, like, he even so was like, oh, I want to move in with you. Like, want to move in with you and like all this crazy shit. And then I was like, cool, okay, like, all right, this is real. Like, he really loves me, like, whatever. Like, we never said the L word or anything like that, but I was thinking that in my head.
The L word on oxygen.
Lesbian.
All right. Anyway.
So at the end of the day, the next day he was like, do you know what? I'm just not feeling this. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And
He's
that
like,
should have been your like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, which I should have. And then we still talked, and then we still hung out, and then we still basically did every single little thing as a relationship. But he told me, oh, well, I don't want to be your boyfriend. Whatever, which was a complete 180, 100% 180. Like, what the fuck? You know, and now I find myself chasing him because he doesn't want that from me.
And now you're going,
What the fuck?
why were his relationships all within 1 month?
Yeah,
to
but
2
he
months
told
long?
me that they all left him and they all went back to their boyfriends and
Could
shit.
have been bullshit.
Yeah, could have probably was. I don't know.
Could
But
have
yeah.
probably was.
Could have probably was. I don't know.
And
It's weird.
and that's Jess's dating life.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's a thing. So
Now I'm single. Like,
Yeah.
100%. Goodbye.
hit my girl up.
Goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Love in Las Vegas.
This has
Fucking
been another
outrageous.
episode
Oh my
of
gosh.
Love in Las Vegas. Jessica is single. To order, call 1-800
To order.
F me hard. 1-800 F me hard.
I fucking hate you.
$19.95 for shipping and handling.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, we need to do a behind the scenes. BTS.